everyone, and welcome back to Above the Yellow Line, the podcast where we talk about all things NASCAR Cup Series drivers, race recaps, and more. My name is Taylor, and the 2021 season of NASCAR finally got started. I was so excited to see the cars on the track. It was like a whole season of depression, and then I saw the cars, and I lit up. And we just had the Busch Clash, and let me tell you, it was an amazing race. I did not expect a road course for the Clash to be the right move, but it definitely was. There was a lot of exciting moments. We'll walk through the race from start to finish. I'll give you a little bit of info on what the race was, how many laps, the cautions that laid out, and we're going to also talk about even before the flag waved for the beginning of the race with the booth, the brand new booth with Clint Bowyer. So we're going to talk about all of that right now. So let's start with the broadcasting side of the race today, not the actual race. We're going to get to Clint Bowyer in a second, but something weird and I'm excited about was the graphics on the actual Fox broadcasting on the side of the screen. If you were watching the race, they actually had like the colors and the numbers like in their right fonts. Again, the throwback to 2001 when they had that. It was a weird thing I was happy about, but to see that come back, and it's a lot easier to look at the numbers and recognize where your driver is, so you're not like going through the list like, okay, where's my driver, and it all blends in. All the numbers stood out on the side of the screen, so it was easy to check out your favorite driver, see how they were doing. So that was a small thing I was excited about of the many things that really filled me with joy while watching the race tonight. So that was a small thing about the broadcast that I really liked. And the major change with the broadcast, obviously, was Clint Bowyer stepping into the booth this season. I thought he did a fantastic job with his first full-time new job in the booth with Mike Joy and Jeff Gordon. I mentioned in the last podcast, I think, that he was going to breathe brand new life into the Fox broadcasting. Not that I don't like the Fox broadcasting, like I said before, but it was just, I'm going to use the word again, refreshing to have that excitement back and just kind of that wonder about the sport. I think it's really helpful that Clint Bowyer did just step out of the car, so he still has that giddiness towards the sport, seeing the drivers put on their helmets. He actually made a quote about the drivers putting on their helmets and him just feeling like it was almost wrong that he wasn't down there, and he felt as excited as I think the fans did while watching the drivers get back in their cars. And so that was a really cool aspect to have in the booth again. He did a very great job, like I said, and I'm excited to see him as a part of the team in the booth for the rest of the Fox broadcasting season. Now, with the broadcasting talk out of the way, we're going to talk about the race in general. I'm going to have the starting lineup on the screen so you can look at it. The only change to the lineup was that Chase Elliott was moved to the rear of the field after an unapproved change to the car. So now we're watching Chase Elliott climb through the field for the 35 laps of the Daytona Road Course. I'm so glad that they went to this track because they're going to be racing it for real next week after the Daytona 500. So they got to see what the track was like. And the theme for tonight, Twitter and the broadcast booth, was rust. These drivers were a little bit rusty. Now the race started off pretty smooth. We're going to get into the first few laps of the race. Nobody missed the chicane. Nobody missed any turns. It was fairly smooth. Lap 2, Joey Logano had the first mini incident of the year. I wouldn't call it a big incident. He rammed the nose of his car into one of the turtles, or like one of the bumps on the track, right into it straight head on, and he went into pit road a few laps later to assess and fix the damage. He was on and off pit road a few times trying to fix that. He did overcome it. He finished third. And I didn't think he would with the amount of times he was going in and out of pit road, but he did. So that was great to see. Who didn't overcome their early struggles was Kevin Harvick, which I was bummed about. After his great last season, I was hoping he would start off strong. Now, a road course is tough to start on. It is not the usual start of the year. But he spun out lap 3 right after the lap 2 incident. He spun around entering the bus stop after going through dirt. Dirt was a big problem tonight around the bus stop area. Actually, a lot of cars ended up spinning out. And that makes me concerned if we're looking ahead to the Bristol race in March. That is a dirt race. Now, the cars are going to have different tires. But seeing how difficult it was for the cars to maneuver around the small patch of dirt on the Daytona Road Course has me a little concerned. And I was on social media during the race kind of tracking the progress and what everyone else was thinking. And everyone else was kind of on the same page. that it's a little concerning. You know, we like I said, there's going to be different tires, a different kind of setup for the cars. So there's a little seed planted in my head that this could go very bad. It will be very entertaining though, but it's going to be a little bit of a mess. So dirt was a partial issue tonight for a lot of the drivers, spinning out, visibility. There was a caution lap 8 to clear a lot of the dirt from the track to help drivers with visibility and just the driving in general. Under the other cautions of the race, they did a lot of cleanup for the dirt as well. After that caution, some drivers came in to get tires, some cars stayed out. The cars could not get fuel until the competition caution lap on lap 15. But we're going to go back to lap 10 on the restart. One of the big talks of the night was a lot of drivers missing that restart and either blowing the turn way too wide or just their brakes just either gave out or they took the turn way too fast and missed completely. Blaney was one of the drivers that overshot the turn on lap 1. He ended up kind of filing back in, but he missed the turn on the first lap of the restart on lap 10, and Harvick yet again goes off the track while Bowman gets shoved along while allowing Reddick to take the lead, and that was one of the times Reddick did lead the race. Brad Keselowski then took the lead on lap 12, followed by Hamlin and Truex, and it was a whole Hamlin, Truex, Brad show for a few laps. Hamlin started leading on lap 13, and the 19 car then passed Brad for the second spot. All this is happening. Chase Elliott is moving through the field to 6th place on lap 13. It took him 13 laps to make it through the field from last place to 6th. And he doesn't stop there. We'll get to that. He keeps moving through the field. Truex then ends up taking the lead again on lap 13, so it goes back and forth for a little bit. Then we have cars, and this is where the confusion started to come in. The competition caution lap was supposed to happen on lap 15, but drivers started coming in a little bit early on like the end tail of lap 14, going into 15 to get tires. They couldn't get fuel yet because it wasn't the competition caution. So there was a little bit of struggle with seeing why isn't the competition caution flag going down, which I equate to the leader, which was Truex at the time, did not go around the track all the way to make it lap 15. So then we hit the caution. Drivers came in to get fuel, went back out. But the biggest, just if I had any grievances about tonight, besides the finish, which was super exciting, and I hated it for the drivers that got in with each other at the end, but Martin Truex Jr. screwed himself over a little bit by missing the chicane under the caution, the competition caution, if I can't say that word any more times, but misses the chicane, and he had to restart in the rear, which was such a shame because I thought he was going to win this race, and he did end up bouncing back, and we're going to talk about the bounce back in a few seconds. There was lots of track cleaning during this caution. There was a few pit issues. The 47 pit too soon. The 19 missed the chicane like we just talked about. And the 48 of Alex Bowman, that's going to be weird to say now, had to take a penalty because he was too fast on pit road. So they restarted on the 19th lap. Yet again, another car missed the start. Kurt Busch was gone. He yeeted out of the field, and Hamlin was back to the lead. A lot of cars got into each other right after that. The 21 with Ryan Newman got into each other at some point. At this point, I'm starting to realize which drivers are actually doing well on the road courses, even though this is the start of the season, and what drivers are really struggling. I paid more attention to the drivers that did well. I want to mention Ryan Blaney because his name's going to come up a little later in the podcast, but he did not surprisingly well, but he did super well on this road course, and I thought he was going to be a contender for the win until he wasn't. But he did a really solid job tonight. Same with Cole Custer, who on lap 22 served a penalty at the chicane, and with that penalty, his car ended up going up into flames. I don't know what happened, but he missed the chicane, stopped his car to serve the penalty, and then his car would not restart. And as soon as we knew it, his chances of winning the race went up in flames. So did the car. So it was the first DNF finish of 2021. I heard rumors that he did come back in the race. It looks like he did. He actually finished 20th. He was laps behind, I think, but he did end up returning to the field, which I was not aware of. Martin Truex Jr., we'll get to him, did not finish the race. He was the only DNF of the race and the first of the season. Getting back to it though, lap 22, we are nearing the end of the race. Cole Custer's car goes up in smoke. That brings out a caution where most of the field pits. There was another pit stop issue with Byron's car. Tire blew. Matt DiBetto's car at this point tore up. Logano was to the rear for not being single file on pit road. All those things happening at once. Then we go back to restart. Blaney, like I said, he did really well. He did a lot of power moves tonight, which served him well. He was in the mix in the top 5 with 10 to go with Hamlin, Truex, Truex came back from the penalty he served earlier to be in second place. Blaney, Kyle Busch, and Elliott all in the top 5 with 10 to go. With 7 to go, he loses control of the car, hits dirt. I forget what really happened, and runs his car into the wall, defeating his chances of winning this race. He is the rightful winner. He deserves to win a road course at some point, and I hate the fact that he did not. I thought he was going to be the first one to dethrone Chase Elliott from the championship streak, or the road course streak that he had. And unfortunately, just tonight wasn't his night. He had issue after issue, mistake after mistake. But it, like I said, the whole theme of this race tonight was rust. So they're just dusting off the rust and it'll all be fine. He'll win a road course race at some point this season. Prediction, I guarantee, will happen. So now we restart with 5 to go. Elliott's in first, and just like that, he goes from the last part of the field to the front of the field. Everyone should see this coming at this point. If he starts in the back, everyone knows that Chase Elliott will be in the front in contention for 80%, 90% of the races, especially the road course races. He has a habit of going from last to first. Points race. Blaney and Chase went after it back and forth. They were bumper to bumper. They ended up banging doors a few times. Blaney took the lead around Chase Elliott, who was in first, and the tires really got him the advantage when they pit. Chase decided to stay out on the last caution, and Blaney went in, which I was like, what is he doing? You need the track position. He went in and got the tires and ended up being able to get around Chase eventually and take the lead. And so I thought I was going to win. I thought it was over. There was a wide stretch in between them. And then on the last lap, Elliott spun Blaney around, and Kyle Busch snuck his way right past Chase Elliott and Ryan Blaney, winning the 2021 Busch Clash. Kyle Busch finished first, Chase Elliott finished second. The rest of the leaderboard is on the screen for you to see. Now, I'm hoping that this race marks the start of a great season for Kyle Busch and his team, who deserves a little bit of a break after a really rough season last year. He was the 2019 NASCAR Cup Series champion. Last year was a little bit rough. So maybe this is the start of a brand new chapter on the 18 team. Hopefully we see the Candyman jump back into action and win a few more races this season. Now, before I close out this podcast, I want to jump completely off topic and talk about the paint schemes of tonight. 2 in particular that I fell in love with. One I was hesitant about first, the William Byron machine, the 24. Wasn't sure about that paint scheme at first when I saw it on paper, but then I saw it on the track, and just the rainbow colors that are reminiscent of the Jeff Gordon ride, the 24, look so good in the lights. I was very excited to see that paint scheme work out. Probably my favorite of the night. My second favorite, or the equal to that, would be his teammate Alex Bowman's car, the Ally Chevy, with that purple, and you could see a little bit of blue on it, reminiscent of the number 88, which is now retired from Hendrick Motorsports. Alex Bowman moving from that number, the Nationwide, of course, to the Ally 48. That's going to be weird for me to say for a little bit, Alex Bowman in the 48, because Jimmy Johnson, I'm just so used to it. But that car looked absolutely gorgeous. Now, I want to know what you thought of those 2 cars and all the other cars in the field. Obviously, there is still a long way to go and a lot of paint schemes to look through, but I want to know what was your favorite of tonight. I also want to know your opinion on the race. Were you a fan of the road course, or would you rather have had the Busch Clash on the actual oval? Let me know in the comments below. Next time on the podcast, we're going to be talking about the Daytona duels and the Daytona 500, the pre-race predictions, some of the paint schemes. We're going to talk all about it. So thank you so much for listening to episode 3 of Above the Yellow Line. My name is Taylor, and until next time, I'll see ya.